Hello viewers, Super GT here. Now the first of two Forza Horizon 4 DLC expansion packs has now dropped, so Fortune Island is here, and in this video I try to answer the question, is it worth your money or is it any good? I've played through the entire thing, so I can kind of give you an honest and unbiased opinion on whether I think it's good, any good or it's worth your money. So in terms of the money, let's just talk about the price. So $20 or £15 for the expansion on its own. Expansion bundle $35 or £25, so it gives you this DLC plus the next one, which obviously isn't released yet. And Ultimate Edition owners, of course, this is part of the deal of buying the Ultimate Edition, so you get it as part of that. So what are you getting? What do you get for your money? So 10 new cars. The range of cars is actually very good. So things like the Falko Motorsport F9, a funky off-road car. I've never heard of it before. Really fun to drive. So you've got lots of off-road vehicles. On the other hand, you've got things like the Koenigsegg CC8S, the Lamborghini Aventador J and the Celine Raptor. A fair mix of cars, and you know what, I've really enjoyed the cars. I think 10 new cars is quite a decent amount, not too shabby at all. So ultimately, in terms of the vehicles they give you, very happy on that front. But of course, the main focus of the DLC of Fortune Island is Fortune Island. Is Fortune Island big enough? Is it good enough? What do you get? What is on the map? Well, you know what? This is what Playground Games have said is their biggest expansion DLC they've added in any Horizon game so far. And within that map, you get some fairly new things like the Needle Climb Drift Road. So you've got this mega snaking road up this mountain pass. It just seems to go on forever. And I'm not much of a drifter, but I did really enjoy drifting around that road. Also, you've got this mountain that really dominates the map. You've got this mountain pass that drives around the edge of it. This dirt road, really sort of narrow drift dirt road, a really perilous road, and obviously you could fall off at any point to your imminent death. So something fairly new there. We haven't really seen too much of that before. So you've got this drift road, you've got this mountain pass, and of course you've got lots of fairly new roads, so 63 roads in total. And you know what? I've really enjoyed driving around this map. I think it's not completely fresh from the base game. It's not something completely new. But with that drift road and the mountain pass, yeah, okay, they're offering something different here, although there's not much of it, which is going to be the main criticism I have of the DLC. The fact that what is there is good, but it's not quite enough of it. So quickly, let's touch on graphics. So graphics, I mean, we know that Playground Games can create graphically amazing games, and this is no exception. So of course we've got something fairly different. We've got the storms, the lightning, Aurora Borealis, which all look very, very nice indeed. And as I say, this is something that we come to expect from Playground Games. It all runs 60 frames per second quite smoothly, although I was getting sometimes some sound issues, like the sound of the car was dropping off or lagging. So there are some issues with the sound, but in terms of the visuals, it looks absolutely amazing. Okay, so the single player experience, what do you get? What are you trying to do here? So you're trying to become the island conqueror. You're trying to become some ancient warlord, it sounds like. But really, in essence, what you're actually doing, you're just ticking off loads of events. You get 10 rounds, and each round you unlock new exhibitions, speed traps, danger signs, etc. to complete. And with each round, of course, you get this new treasure chest idea. So this is something quite fresh. It's completely fresh. It's a new idea, and I quite enjoyed it. So you get a clue, you get a riddle. Normally you have to complete a certain danger sign or a jump or a speed zone in a certain car, and it's just up to you to work out which one. So fairly simple. There wasn't too much complexity to it, but it was something new, something fresh, and it was fairly simple to do, and something new, I suppose. Aside from the 32 exhibitions, the 5 speed traps, 5 speed zones, the danger signs, you get these new Trailblazer events, which are actually quite fun. I enjoyed them. So it's essentially free roam rush, but on a smaller scale. You have a start point, you have an end point. Just get to the end as fast as possible using any route you like, which was actually quite fun. It was quite a little event, something fresh. And the only downside, really, there's only 5 of them. It wasn't really enough. I feel as though all you've got is a start point and an end point. Surely they could have just added a few more. Just make 20 of them. You know, it didn't really feel like there was enough, anywhere near enough, to be honest. And sort of adding on from the single player, so you don't have to win events to progress. So of course with the danger signs and stuff, you need to try to get 3 stars if you really want to complete it. But with the exhibitions, you don't have to finish first. You can finish like 8th every time, and you get through them. So that's that could be an upside, that could be a downside. You could say I want to take it casually, so I don't really care. But at the same time, you're not going to be challenged too much So even the danger signs and stuff, a lot of them, if you're in the right car, you can complete them first time. There wasn't too much difficulty there. So you're not going to be challenged too much, I would say. But then you do get to the final 2 events. So you've got the Kraken and the Leviathan. So 2 really long tracks that go around the whole map. One of them a road-based one, and one of them a off-road based one. And you do have to win those to become the Island Conqueror. Now, okay, so you complete them, you become the Island Conqueror. To be honest, it was a massive anticlimax. So you've been building up to become this conqueror of this whole new land. And the girl on the radio just says, yeah, well done, you've passed it. And then that was about it. You know, you just go back to you just go back to doing whatever you were doing, having conquered this island. It didn't really feel special at all. And there was no real special feeling to completing this DLC at all, I would say. The special feeling was really just from having a blast from completing the events, from especially the drift zones. I think the drift club events were very fun. And that's where the fun really comes in Horizon, I think. Not from really completing it or testing yourself, it's just from having a blast. It doesn't matter what your score is, it's just like have a blast while doing it. That's the main focus really, and that's pretty much encapsulated in the base game, and it's really apparent in this DLC as well. So pretty much anything that's good about the main game carries over here, and anything that's bad also carries over. So things like the wall riding and the AI, you know, things that are bad in the base game, you know, they're the same here. And things like, you know, the handling characteristics and the graphics and all of that kind of stuff, you know, that all carries over, but that's all good stuff. So many of it is very similar to the base game, but ultimately the big problem is the replay value. It took me about 10 hours to complete, and given the fact that there is no multiplayer, there's no hoppers, you know, there's no ranked events, there's no playground events unless you create it all yourself with your friends. There's no dedicated hoppers to, you know, playing against other random people around the world, which is a big disappointment, and that doesn't really add to the replay value of this expansion, which is a massive problem, I think. So when it's only taking about 10 hours to complete, you probably could do it in 5 or 6, and then not much to do beyond that. Then you know, it's not really great value for money. I wouldn't say it's great value for money. I would still buy this DLC. I would still recommend buying it, but I wouldn't say it's the best value I've ever seen in any game. Despite it being the biggest map, it just feels like what is there is very good. It's just there isn't enough of it, and that is a big problem. And hopefully the second expansion does improve upon that, because this one, I can't see myself really playing it too much more beyond what I've done here. I've completed all the events, I've done all the speed traps, the danger signs, whatever. But once I've done that, I can't really see myself going back to it. So that is a bit of a problem. Hopefully that gets addressed for the next one. Okay, so let's just touch upon some finishing points, some pluses and minuses. So on the plus side, it was fun. You know, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing through the events, especially the drift events. I think the map is very well suited to drifting and to off-road. So if that's your focus, then you know you'll love this. And even though, I mean, I'm normally a track racer or a road racer, and I love the drifting. I'm really not a drifter, but I really enjoyed it. The new cars are good, so definitely worth it for those cars. Those cars are very worthwhile. The new elements, so the Trailblazer and the treasure chests, they're good fun. I just wish there were kind of more of them. And then it keeps the game fresh, I suppose. So I mean, the game's been out for a while now. So maybe just buying this DLC, it keeps the game fresh. I would recommend buying maybe the expansion bundle instead of just this one on its own. I'm just hoping that the second DLC has more replay value and at least multiplayer. And on the downside, yeah, no multiplayer, other than of course inviting your friends and creating events that way. Of course you can still play with your friends, but there is no sort of dedicated hoppers against other people around the world. So little replay value, another downside. So once you've completed it, it feels like there's not much more to do. It feels a little bit lacking in ideas, in the sense that Storm Island in Horizon 2 feels a little bit similar to this. It feels like it's not quite a fresh idea, it's not completely new. Yes, they've added some new things, which I did enjoy. There were some sound glitches, so the game was cutting out at times, the car sound was lagging at times. But overall, it's just, what is there is very good. I really like what's there, really good fun, but there's just not quite enough of it. That is the main up and down of this DLC. But that is, well, those are my thoughts, and I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this expansion. And of course, if you have any questions, then do fire away in the comments and I'll try to answer you, or hopefully someone else will be able to answer you as well. But at the same time, please do let me know your thoughts and whether or not you think this is worthwhile. As an overall score, I would say 7 out of 10, because what's there is good, and again, just not enough replay value. I would recommend buying it, but I would just hope that the next DLC is a little bit better and has more replay value. But that's it. If you have any more questions, then do ask. And well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. Consider subscribing if you'd like to see more racing game content. And well, that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time. Goodbye.
Listen.